I've been driving trucks for over 15 years, seen a lot of strange things on empty highways. But there are 3 nights I can never forget. 3 encounters that logic can't explain. The first one, a face appeared at my window at 11:45 p.m. What I saw in those eyes still wakes me up at night. And that was only the beginning. You know that feeling when you've been driving so long the road starts to blur? When your eyelids get so heavy they feel like they're made of concrete. That's exactly where I was that night. The dashboard clock read 11:45 p.m. The blacktop stretched endlessly ahead of me. Nothing but my headlights slicing through pitch darkness. No moon. No stars. Just me and miles of empty highway. I remember thinking, just a few more miles. Just push through. But my body was done. My eyes kept closing on their own. That dangerous drift was happening. The kind where you jerk awake and realize you don't remember the last 30 seconds of driving. I needed to stop. Right now. Then I spotted it. A small green sign emerging from the darkness. Rest area 1 mile. Thank God. I took the exit and rolled into the parking area. Nothing fancy. Just a tiny pull-off with a couple of old picnic tables and a small restroom building. The kind of place you forget exists 5 minutes after leaving. But here's what made my stomach tighten. It was completely empty. Not a single car. Not one other truck. Just absolute stillness. Now I've stopped at hundreds of rest areas over the years. Sometimes they're quiet. That's normal. But this felt different. The silence here was heavy. Thick. Like the air itself was holding its breath. I told myself I was being paranoid. Exhaustion does strange things to your mind. I found a spot near the edge of the lot, away from the restroom, and killed the engine. The headlights died and darkness swallowed everything. The only light came from a single overhead lamp about 50 feet away. It gave off this weak, sickly yellow glow that barely reached my truck. I leaned my seat back and closed my eyes. Sleep was coming fast. That heavy pull you can't fight. And then I heard it. At first, I wasn't even sure I'd heard anything at all. It was so faint, so quiet, like a whisper carried on wind that didn't exist. My eyes opened. I held completely still and listened. There it was again. Someone was whispering. Close by. I sat up slowly, heart beginning to pound. I scanned through every window but saw nothing. Just darkness. Empty picnic tables. Shadows that seemed darker than they should be. But that whisper, it was getting closer. And now I could hear the tone. Low. Angry. Like someone muttering threats through clenched teeth. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt your body react to danger before your brain understood why? That primal alarm that screams something is very wrong? That's exactly what happened next. Every instinct I had was screaming at me. Don't open the door. Don't roll down the window. Don't move. The whispering was right outside now, inches from my driver's side door. I could almost feel the vibration of the voice through the glass. I turned my head, slowly, dreading what I might see. And there he was, a face, pressed directly against my window, skin so pale it almost glowed, eyes wide open, bloodshot, unblinking, and his mouth stretched into this grin. Not a smile, a grin. The kind that has nothing to do with happiness. In his hand, catching what little light existed, was a knife. Long, jagged. The blade looked like it had been sharpened 1,000 times. For a moment, and I mean this, I couldn't move. My body completely locked up. My brain was screaming commands, but nothing was responding. It was like being paralyzed while fully awake. He raised the knife, and started tapping it against my window. Tap. 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 That sound. I still hear it sometimes when I'm trying to fall asleep. His grin stretched even wider. His lips were moving, forming words I couldn't hear. Or maybe I could hear them, but my mind refused to process them. If you're watching this alone right now, I'd check your windows. Just saying. Suddenly my body unfroze. Pure survival instinct took over. My hands found the keys. I jammed them into the ignition, so hard I'm surprised they didn't break. The engine roared to life. I slammed the truck into drive. He didn't move. Didn't step back. Just kept staring. Kept tapping. Kept grinning. I floored it. The tires screamed against pavement. The truck lurched forward so violently I almost lost control. But I didn't care. I just needed to get away. I didn't look in the mirrors. Couldn't bring myself to. I just drove. Foot pressed against the accelerator. Knuckles white on the steering wheel. Heart trying to break through my ribcage. Miles passed in a blur of terror. That face. Those dead eyes. That blade tapping against glass. The images played on repeat in my mind. I kept expecting to see headlights in my mirror. Kept expecting him to somehow appear again. Following me. Chasing me. Only when I reached a busy truck plaza, bright lights everywhere, other drivers walking around, the sound of normal life, did I finally pull over. I parked under the brightest light I could find and just sat there, breathing, trying to stop my hands from shaking. I didn't sleep that night, not even for a minute. Every time I closed my eyes, he was there, standing in the darkness, grinning, waiting. I still don't know who that man was, or what he wanted, but I know this: if I had hesitated, if I had been just 5 seconds slower getting that engine started, you wouldn't be hearing this story right now. If this is hitting different for you, drop a like. And stay with me, because the second story, it's even stranger. Make sure you're subscribed. After that night at the rest area, I thought I'd experienced the worst the highway could offer. I was wrong, because what happened a few months later, it didn't just scare me. It made me question everything I thought I knew about reality. It started simply enough. Another late-night drive. The same hypnotic rhythm of tires on pavement. The same endless darkness beyond my headlights. Exhaustion was creeping in again. I needed a break. Not a rest area this time. I'd sworn those off, just a quick stop. Somewhere to stretch my legs for 5 minutes. Get some fresh air. An exit appeared. Nothing special. Just a ramp leading to a deserted back road surrounded by open fields. I pulled onto the gravel shoulder and stepped out into the cold night air. The silence was immediate. Total. No traffic sounds. No animals. Nothing. I lit a cigarette and leaned against my truck, watching the smoke drift upward and disappear into blackness. That's when I heard it. A giggle. A child's giggle. Light. Innocent. Playful. And completely impossible. My blood went cold. I spun around, searching the darkness. The fields were empty. The road was empty. There was literally nowhere for anyone to hide. But before I could process what I'd heard, a voice called out. A little girl's voice. Sweet. High-pitched. Hi, mister. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. My heart was slamming against my ribs so hard it hurt. Hello. I finally managed to call back. My voice came out weaker than I wanted. Where are you? The response came instantly, like she was standing right beside me. My mommy says you're going to be okay. Don't worry. Now I need you to really think about that. Midnight. Middle of nowhere. Complete darkness. And a child's voice telling you not to worry. Does that comfort you? Or does it make everything worse? What? What do you mean? I asked the empty air. Where's your mother? Silence. The night had gone completely still. But then came something that made every hair on my body stand at attention. A presence. Right beside me. I couldn't see anyone. The space next to me looked empty. But I could feel someone there. Like invisible warmth radiating just inches from my skin. Have you ever walked into a room and known someone was watching you, even though you couldn't see them? Multiply that feeling by 1,000. That's what this was. My instincts screamed at me to run. To get back in my truck and drive until this place was 100 miles behind me. But here's the strange part, and I've never told anyone this before. The presence didn't feel threatening. It felt protective, like something was watching over me, keeping me safe. I don't know how long I stood there. Minutes? Seconds? Time felt weird. Eventually I crushed my cigarette and climbed back into the cab. My hands were shaking, but I managed to start the engine and merge back onto the highway. The weird feeling began to fade as I put distance between me and that exit. Then my dashboard lit up. Low fuel warning. I cursed out loud. I'd completely forgotten to fill up at my last stop. The needle was hovering just above empty. I grabbed my GPS and searched frantically. A truck stop existed a few miles ahead. Just a few miles. I could make it. Those few miles felt like forever. The engine started coughing, sputtering. That horrible sound when a vehicle is running on fumes. I gripped the wheel and prayed. Anyone who's ever been stranded on a dark highway knows this terror. Let me know in the comments if you've been there. The truck stop appeared like a miracle. Lights glowing in the distance. Fuel pumps waiting. I coasted in on nothing but faith. The engine died completely the moment I stopped rolling. I sat there for a long minute, just breathing, processing how close I'd come to being stranded in the middle of nowhere. I stepped out to fill the tank. That's when I saw her, at the corner of the lot, just beyond where the bright lights reached. Standing in the shadows, a little girl, watching me, giggling softly. Somehow I knew it was her. The same child from the exit. Though I couldn't explain how that was possible. Her face wore a pleasant smile. But her eyes didn't match. They held something ancient. Something that shouldn't exist in a child. I forced myself to look away, focused on pumping fuel as fast as possible. My hands trembled so badly I almost dropped the nozzle twice. When the tank was full, I looked back toward that corner. Empty. She was gone. No footsteps. No sound of departure. Just gone. I threw myself into the truck and drove away at full speed. Her words echoed in my mind for the rest of the night. My mommy says you're going to be okay. Was she warning me? Protecting me? Or was she something else entirely? I never found answers. But here's what I can't stop thinking about. What if she knew something was coming? What if running out of fuel near that exit would have been worse than just an inconvenience? What if she saved my life, and I'll never understand how? Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved, but they stay with you forever. Okay, before we get to the final story, I need to warn you, this one is different. This wasn't supernatural. This was human evil. Pure and simple. Make sure you're subscribed, because you need to hear this. It might save your life someday. I need to tell you something before I start this story. I've been driving trucks for a long time. I've seen things that don't make sense. Experienced moments that logic can't explain. But this night, this wasn't about the unexplainable. This was about people, regular human beings, and what they're capable of. This is the night I almost died. Not from a ghost. Not from some supernatural force. From a trap. A carefully planned, calculated trap. It was close to midnight. I was pushing through one of those remote highway stretches where civilization simply doesn't exist. No towns for 50 miles in either direction. No rest stops. No gas stations. Just endless pavement cutting through darkness. The sky was pitch black. No stars. No moon. Just thick clouds pressing down from above. And something felt wrong. I couldn't explain it then. Can't fully explain it now. But there was this heaviness in my chest. This tension in my muscles. Like my body sensed danger that my conscious mind couldn't identify yet. Then my headlights caught something up ahead. A figure. Standing at the side of the road. As I got closer, the details became clearer. A woman. Young. Alone. Wearing a light summer dress that made no sense for the cold night air. Her hair blew gently in some breeze I couldn't feel inside my cab. Her thumb was extended. The universal signal. She needed a ride. My first instinct was to slow down. Who leaves a woman stranded alone on a deserted highway at midnight? What kind of person just drives past? And that's exactly what they were counting on. That basic human decency. That instinct to help. They weaponized it. As my foot moved toward the brake, something caught my eye. Movement. In the bushes behind her. Subtle. Just a slight rustling. The kind of thing you'd normally dismiss as wind or an animal. But something made me look harder. I squinted into the darkness beyond her figure. And my blood turned to ice. Men. Multiple men. Crouched in the underbrush. Bodies coiled tight. Ready to spring. Watching my approaching headlights with predator patience. In that single frozen moment, everything clicked into horrifying clarity. She was bait. Those men were the trap. This wasn't a random encounter. This was a coordinated ambush. They'd probably done this before. Probably succeeded before. If I stopped. If I rolled down my window. If I opened my door even slightly, they would swarm my vehicle before I could react. And whatever happened next, I wouldn't survive it. My foot slammed the accelerator. The engine screamed. I shot past the woman so fast she became a blur. But in that brief second, I saw her face change. That vulnerable, helpless expression vanished. Replaced by something feral. Something furious. And then they came. The men exploded from their hiding spots with terrifying speed. Sprinting. Directly after my truck. The woman ran with them. Her summer dress billowing behind her. Arms pumping. Feet pounding against pavement. They chased me like wolves pursuing wounded prey. Have you ever been hunted? Not just scared. Actually hunted by other human beings? Let me tell you, nothing prepares you for that feeling. I pushed the gas pedal flat against the floor. My truck roared forward. But they didn't stop. Didn't slow down. I could hear their footsteps thundering behind me. Could hear their voices shouting. The speedometer climbed. 50, 60, 70. Still they came. How were they keeping up? How was that possible? Then I saw it. A sharp curve ahead. The kind that demands you slow down. The kind that can flip a truck if you take it wrong. I didn't have a choice. I took the curve at full speed. The truck tilted. For one terrifying moment, I felt the wheels on my left side lift completely off the ground. I was going to flip. This was it. Then somehow the tires caught. The truck slammed back down. I shot around the curve. I risked one glance in my mirror. Empty road. They were gone. But I didn't slow down. Didn't stop. I drove at maximum speed until I saw buildings. Street lights. Other vehicles. Signs of human civilization. I pulled into a gas station parking lot and sat there until the sun came up. My hands never stopped shaking. I've driven that highway many times since that night. Never seen the woman again. Never spotted men hiding in the shadows. But every single time I pass that stretch of road, ice water runs through my veins. Because I know, with complete certainty, what would have happened if I'd stopped. And somewhere out there, they're still hunting. Still setting their trap. Still waiting for the next driver with a kind heart and slow reflexes. The next truck might not be so lucky. 3 nights. 3 encounters. 3 moments that should have been my last. Each one taught me something different. The first taught me that evil can appear anywhere, even in places that seem safe. The second taught me that not everything we encounter can be explained. Sometimes you just have to accept the mystery. And the third taught me that the most dangerous predators on this planet are human. If you drive alone at night, whether you're a trucker, a night shift worker, just someone taking a long road trip, please remember this. Trust your instincts. That feeling in your gut. It exists for a reason. Never stop at empty rest areas. And if something feels wrong, it probably is. If these stories got to you, if your heart is beating a little faster right now, hit that like button. It tells me you want more. Subscribe if you're new. Click the bell so you don't miss the next one. And leave a comment. Tell me your own highway story. The strange things you've seen. The encounters you can't explain. I read every single one. Stay safe out there, friends. The road is beautiful, but the darkness hides things we can't imagine. Until next time.